All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here with another quick update video for today. We did have some very interesting developments happen on Bitcoin today, and it looks like we're losing this key pitchfork support band that you can see held really well. Let me zoom out to the 4-hour chart here. You can see this pitchfork band of support held really, really well 3 times on major tests. Now today, we lost it earlier today, confirmed the back test, and now we're dropping. We did finally come for the 92K triple bottom that I was looking for multiple weeks here. And I was saying it was most probable to come down and take that liquidity, and we finally did come down to take that liquidity. Now, we did get a small bounce after we took the liquidity, but we couldn't get back. We rejected from a back test of this pitchfork here, and we're continuing to drop now. We're continuing our drop to the downside. I do think that we still have 90.6K is a pretty important support level is still. And the reason why I think that, I'll show you guys real quick here. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. If we do a fixed range volume profile pull of that larger ascending channel, remember the ascending channel from November 11th that I talked about in many of my videos? If we look at that range just from November 11th on, this ascending price action that was happening, and then now the larger sideways range that's starting to occur. You can see the value area low of this is right below the swing failure pattern here. So we might do a swing failure pattern of the 90.6 into 90.5K and then continue higher. Now on Bybit, we did, on that flash crash that happened on December 5th, you can see that we did, let me hide this here. We did drop much lower. We dropped to about 90, 290 on there. So we already took the liquidity on some of the exchanges of this low here. But that means there's also liquidity resting from this flash crash wick here. And if we do the same volume pull on Bybit, you can see here that the value area low is right at this liquidity area. So we might see an SFP down to like 89K, maybe these lows here, 89K. We hold 89K, close a 4-hourly candle at or above this value area low. And if we hold and close a 4-hour candle at or above this value area low, that could be a valid swing failure pattern where you could look to long it, and you could look to even take it up to, we could do a back test of this channel that we lost, because I'm going to go into this real quick too. This channel was a channel that I created, and we were trading in this kind of sideways price action here since December 19th. And remember, I said when we came down to the 886 here, it was most probable that we come down to take this low, because usually when you hit the 886 or break the 886, eventually you come down to take the low before it, which is this low here at 92.2-ish. So we finally did break down today. We're losing this, and we did close our first daily candle. If I go back to this chart here on Coinbase, and let's go to the daily chart, you're going to see that we finally closed our first daily candle below this pitchfork band of support. You can see here that it did hold 1 time, 2 times, 3 times here, but now we're losing it. We're closing our daily candle below it, and the continuation looks like it's happening. Money flow is still coming out, and our momentum wave looks like it's kind of blowing. It's having that butt cheek blowout where it's not rounding off yet. So most probable to come down to at least 90.6K, if not lower, you guys. We need to watch for this. Also, the pitchfork support held here, you could see. So this major low of the pitchfork that held very well, even here, we held it. So we're breaking this pitchfork band of support. We could even see a dump down to the pitchfork midline, which is around 82K, depending on how long it takes. Say it takes a couple weeks here, 83K, 80, we could have a liquidation cascade, hit into the pitchfork midline, and then maybe SFP this on like a 4-hour candle or so. So this is the lows of that ascending channel. So we need to be watching 85K as well. There's also a daily at 87K that we should be watching. That box of support you can see at on Coinbase, 87,347 is there. Actually, this is Bybit, excuse me. But Coinbase has pretty much the same daily level. All right, so let me now go zoom in here, and I'm going to zoom in onto the 2-hour chart, and we're going to look at this range that I had pulled, this pink slightly ascending channel that I pulled based off of these 2 lows and this high. And you can see how well it's been respected. The other day when we lost, we came back up and we rejected from that POC. Remember the POC of this range here, And it was also the 0.5. In yesterday's video, I talked about this. We came up, we had the rejection from the 0.5 in the POC. We dropped down to the bottom of the range, and we did see a small bounce from the bottom of the range. But you can also see that value area low. This morning, what was happening when New York was opening, we were having this value area low here. Okay, that changed it, but it's right before the drop. Say we go here to right before the drop. Well, I guess that changed it too. Coinbase has the value area low. We were trying to, you can look at this pitchfork band here. Once we lost it this morning on lower time frames, zoom in onto the 15-minute here. All morning we were trying to get back above it. Actually, all night. It was all night last night and all morning. You can see multiple tries. A try here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tries to get above it. We couldn't get above it. We had a fake out above it, and then the very next candle is when we started our big, more impulsive dump to the downside, or more volume-filled dump to the downside. Finally took the 92K's lows and liquidity there that I was looking for. If you check the liquidation map here, you can see that almost all that liquidity was finally taken on the 92K lows, the liquidity I was looking for. Now, most of our liquidity, actually, let me zoom in here. Let's go to the 3-day chart. Yeah, so we did take almost all that liquidity that was resting down there at the 92K lows. We do still have a lot of liquidity that is resting above. Let's go to the 2-week chart here. And the 99.7K swing failure pattern highs that we saw on Christmas Eve, you can see a majority of the liquidity for shorts, the stop out of shorts or liquidation levels is up here at about 100K. And then we did take all of our liquidity from 92K. You can see it was all down here. We had a lot of liquidity down here. We finally came down and took it. Now, once we took the liquidity, you guys, what happened is we took the liquidity and we did see a pretty strong bounce up, I think 6% or so. And we were starting to get back within the pitchfork. What I did, and this was during Jason's public live stream, actually only a 3%, 3.5% or so. But we were seeing us try to get above this pitchfork and reclaim it. And actually, I posted right here when we got above it and came back for the back test and started bouncing. I actually longed right here, and I put my stop right below that local candle. So I longed the actual, once we bounced from it, I longed like right here. I put my stop here. I did get stopped out on that trade. That's okay. That's part of risk management. Now, part of the reason we rejected where we did is I'm going to zoom out onto the 1-hour chart, and let's look at a fib pull from that last 99.7K high that we had up here on Christmas Eve, and we'll bring it down to the lows, and you can see, and the 382 often acts as support or resistance in strong trends, and this has been a pretty strong trend since 108 all the way up here at 108. We've been in a pretty strong trend to the downside since we hit that 108.4 highs. But if we do the last relevant fib pull of the range from the high of the range, remember it's this range that I'm talking about since December 19th. If we do from the high of the range to the lows that we made, you can see after we made those lows, we bounced up to the 0.382. We could not reclaim the 0.382, and I warned about this in the Discord. I said, you guys, oftentimes when you bounce up and you reject from the 382, that means the trend is still strong, and the trend is still biased towards the downside. So we rejected from the 382. I updated about that in real time, and I said, if we do reject from this and we're not able to reclaim this, we could probably expect new lows to come in. And we haven't made new lows yet, but we're on our way. So we should be watching the 90,000-ish level, which is the value area low. Coinbase has the swing failure pattern at 96.82, and Bybit's about 92.90. So about 90K, we should be watching for a drop to maybe 90K, maybe even 89K. And then we would want to close that 4-hour candle above the swing failure pattern level. And then you might be able to enter along there if you see bullish confirmation. Right now, we are seeing some bull divs on the chart. Like as far as the 1 hour goes, you can see momentum waves are getting higher this whole time up. Price action's getting lower. We did see lower time frame bull divs as well when we took the 92K liquidity this morning. Let's zoom out to the 4 hours and let's check the 4-hour chart. So no bull div signs yet on the 4 hour, which is a bad sign to me. And also look at money flow. Money flow is starting to decrease rapidly to the downside. This is telling me that if this value area low of this range doesn't hold at like 90.2K, 90.3K, we might drop to 85K. Now, I'm going to cover that right now real quick. Oftentimes when you see impulsive price action, like we saw huge impulses to the upside here, and then we rejected from the top of the pitchfork at 108.4. Once we rejected, we made a pretty aggressive correction to the downside here, and that could be the start of a corrective price action after a big impulse. And you want to look for what's called an ABC correction, which is a zigzag correction. You know, the first zag, the second zag, and then the C target. And the way we can look for the C target is if you take a trend-based fib extinction, you go from the highs of A to the lows of A, then bring it up to the highs of B. You can see our one-to-one target, which is often the target in a ABC correction. The one-to-one target is right below the swing failure pattern of our ascending channel, that ascending channel that we've been trading in for so long. Let's see, not that channel. This channel here. So you can see this pink ascending channel. I know the chart's getting kind of messy, so just try to follow along with this. This pink ascending channel that we started on November 11th here. The lows of that channel, we wicked below, but the pretty much the start of the liquidity of the ascending channel is at 85K. Now, oftentimes when you break an ascending channel to the downside, you come back up for a bearish backtest. You either confirm the bearish backtest and continue dropping like we're doing now, or you're able to reclaim it and continue the trend. We did not reclaim it. We saw clear rejection multiple times here, and then we're dropping. We just made new lows today. Oftentimes when you break an ascending channel like this, you'll come for the second pivot low at least, which is at 90.6K, if not the lows of the entire ascending channel liquidity, which is at 85K, which is also our ABC correction target. So 85K is looking like a pretty juicy support to be looking at. A little bit below that, we do have our pitchfork midline around 82K, depending on how quick we get there, 80, 81.5, 82K. So that is also something we need to be aware of there. Yeah, so Bitcoin is just continuing bearishly. We finally closed our first daily candle below this pitchfork. If I go to the total chart here, now on the total chart, I talked about in yesterday's video, I made this kind of descending channel that we were in, just based like off this price action of yesterday, from this high to this high down to this low here. And I did talk about this and speculate in the video that we could continue to just slow grind down in this channel while Bitcoin, ranges, and then we might if Bitcoin loses that range, we might continue to slow grind down in this channel. Well, yesterday when I talked about it, we were up around this area here. We were just rejecting from the pitchfork midline in red that you see there. We kind of chopped around for a little bit, and then in the dump today, we came down to the bottom of the channel. We held the bottom of the channel. We pumped up to the top of the channel. We rejected from the top of the channel, came back down to the bottom of the channel. We got a small bounce, kind of up to the midline. We frontland the midline a little bit, and now we're just continuing this slow grind down in this kind of channel that we're seeing. And this channel's not the nicest channel either. We could actually make a new channel here based off of some updated price action. So we could do something like this last low to the low that we formed earlier today, and we could bring it up to this high here. It's a decent, nice channel that we could be looking at here. So we can just be watching for Bitcoin or for the total market cap to continue to slowly grind down until support levels hit. Remember, we do have these internal liquidity levels here that we took today. Now the only level of liquidity left is down here that on December 24th, that crash that we had on December 24th. If we don't SFP this, we could come down much lower to our major target that I've had highlighted for about a month now. In that case, Bitcoin might be dropping to 85K or even into the 70K area. And I know 70K sounds very, very far away, but we did see weekly bear divs and we did see daily bear divs. Actually, let's go to this real quick. So let's zoom out to the weekly chart. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. We did confirm, and I was warning about this for a few days before we actually started to see the dump. I was warning about the weekly bear divs confirming. You can see lower highs on the momentum waves, higher highs on the price action. Money flow started decreasing right when we were hitting into the top of the pitchfork, but it was also the top of the ascending channel. Now, let me hide some of this stuff so you guys can get a clearer picture here. Now, if we do a fib pull, or not a fib pull, a fixed range volume profile of that range that we were in for most of 2024, that range since March through all the way until election day, 7 months or so, you can see the value area high of this range is coming in right around 70K there. Now let's do a Fibonacci pull from the lows of that range to the highs that we made, the all-time high. We'll check the golden pocket. Now look at this. The golden pocket is right in perfect confluence with the retest of the value area high. So oftentimes when you break a big trend like this, a big range, you'll see some explosive price action up. And then sometimes on a corrective price action, you'll come back down to the retest the prior range value area high. What used to be considered resistance will now flip to support, and we can continue higher. If it doesn't flip to support and we lose 70K, then Bitcoin's in real trouble. Now you can also see that this golden pocket and value area high confluence is also in confluence with this lower band of this pitchfork that we've been trading in and respecting so well. We're starting to lose the upper band. We still have the midline around 82K. We need to watch for that. If we lose that, 70K is our macro level of support. This, like I said in the last video, and I got this from Jason, this is the mole, the mother of all longs. This could be a swing long opportunity from 70K, 71, 69.5-ish. We could swing fail, or we could come down to here, hold this as support, and then continue up higher to make new all-time highs. So it's not out of the questions. It's still far away, and we still have many levels to watch before then, so we're not looking there yet. But that's a level to be aware of on your chart, and this is a great level to look for a swing long if we do come down here. Now, if we come down here on the daily chart, we'd probably want to see bull divs starting to happen on the daily chart, or at least, momentum wave bottomed out, money flow starting to come up. Actually, by then, hopefully we would see some bull divs. Hopefully by then we might have this butt cheek that would bottom out. Then we would maybe make another low and then have a second butt cheek that's higher. So we would be seeing bullish divs, and then we might do something like this. The first butt cheek might bottom out there. Then we might lose it, come in here, and then we would see our daily bull divs on Bitcoin. That's what would be ideal to see if we do come down to 70K. Now, 70K is still far away, but it's just a possibility you guys need to keep in your minds. All right, let me go back to the total 3 chart. Altcoins here. Let me zoom in onto the 2-hour chart. Altcoins are holding up pretty well comparatively to Bitcoin today, and actually since like December 24th. Part of the reason altcoins are holding up better is because they were already destroyed much more from the December 5th crash, but we're still in this range that has been going on for a little bit on altcoins. Now, yesterday when I made the video, we were right around here and we were holding the POC, and I said as long as we're holding the POC as support, then it is a little bit looking more bullish. Now, we were holding it for most of the day. You can see we came up to the value area high, kind of rejected from it, came back down. We're holding it for multiple hours again, pumped up to the value area high again. Once we lost the value area high, we came back to the value area low. We bounced from the value area low here, came back up to the POC, rejected from the POC. So this time we might not hold the value area low. If we continue this grind down, we could look for the next level of support on the altcoin chart being this level here, this internal liquidity grab into the golden pocket. And the golden pocket is just from this high or this low here to the highs of this small range that we're looking at here. And if we do see altcoins kind of swing fail into the 0.65 and start to see a bounce, you can look at any altcoins that are also at their support levels, their key support levels, and you could even take a long, even if it's a scalp. You might be able to take a long. You'd have like this. You could use this as kind of confirmation to get in on that trade. The total charts. That's at least what I do. All right, so that's my Bitcoin update for today. That's the total update here. I do expect Bitcoin to come lower, you guys. I mean, even if we could even come back up now for another bearish backtest of this pitchfork. Now that we close the daily below it, we might come up on the daily to backtest it and then continue lower. So 90K-ish is a level I'm looking. Hopefully we get the swing failure pattern of both Coinbase and Bybit within the same hourly candle. And then we close the next hourly candle at or above the value area, the value area low of that bigger range. That's something that I'm going to be watching for. If we lose that, then we just go down to 85K, which is the liquidity lows of the channel in confluence with our ABC correction target that we could be looking for. Hope this helps for you guys. You can see that we do not have bull divs yet on the 4 hour. Actually, our money flow looks horrible too. Money flow starting to come out aggressively. There's many signs, bearish signs, saying that we could expect lower on the charts. So we need to be watching for that. All right, everybody, have a good day. Hope this helps.